Hi Facebook fans, my name is Amberly. I'm EmuAid's National Sales Manager, and we're going to talk about eczema with you guys today because October is actually National Eczema Awareness Month. And that's a big condition that we treat here at EmuAid with our first aid ointments, with both of them, with regular strength EmuAid first aid ointment, that's the one with the blue label, and maximum strength EmuAid first aid ointment, the one with the red label. So with it being National Eczema Awareness Month, we're just going to kind of go over what eczema is, kind of the different types of eczema, how to treat it, and some tips hopefully that will help everyone out, for everyone that's experiencing eczema, or especially if you're a caretaker for someone that's experiencing eczema as well. And if you guys have any questions while we're filming, please feel free to drop us a comment in this video, or send us a message. We're here to help. We have excellent customer service reps that are here to help you, so please feel free to ask any and all questions that you might have. So what eczema is? Eczema is a skin condition that causes patches of the skin to become inflamed, itchy, red, cracked, and rough skin. In some cases, the skin can also weep and blister, but EmuAid is really effective for treating any and all kinds of eczema. A few of the most common types of eczema, there's 3 of them that are really considered the most common types. There's atopic dermatitis, contact dermatitis, and seborrheic dermatitis. Dermatitis can usually be exchanged between eczema because eczema is that umbrella term. So whenever you hear atopic dermatitis, it can be interchanged with atopic eczema. They both mean the same thing at the end of the day. So atopic dermatitis is considered the most common. Over 16 million Americans are suffering from atopic dermatitis, with over 6 million Americans considered to be suffering from moderate to severe symptoms. And atopic dermatitis is a result of immune system malfunction and skin barrier problems that cause inflammation, cause redness, and cause that itching. And by skin barrier problems, your skin barrier, what that is it helps to protect, to keep irritants out, to keep moisture in, and really just to kind of protect your skin from harsh elements. So when that's not working, when that's malfunctioning, you're losing moisture, irritants are getting in, further exacerbating those itchy, painful symptoms to cause infection because it's more easy for irritants to get in. So that's generally what atopic dermatitis is, and it can kind of appear anywhere on the body. The second one is contact dermatitis. So the biggest difference with contact dermatitis, kind of as the name implies, it's anything your skin comes into contact with will cause that dermatitis or eczema flare up. And there's 2 types of contact dermatitis. There is irritant contact dermatitis, so that's anytime an irritation comes into contact with your skin. That can be a physical irritation, such as rubbing your skin too hard if you suffer from that eczema sensitivity. It can be a harsh chemical coming into your skin. And then there's allergic contact dermatitis. And as that name kind of implies, that's anytime an allergen or something you're allergic to comes into contact with your skin to cause that eczema or dermatitis flare up. And kind of the biggest difference between the 2 is the time that it can take to develop a reaction. Contact dermatitis, that usually causes a reaction like right away when you come into contact with that irritant or chemical, whereas the allergic contact dermatitis, that can have a delayed response up to 48 to 96 hours later for your body's immune system to react to that allergen. But both, at the end of the day, for contact dermatitis, they'll appear wherever that allergen or irritant came into contact with your skin. That third type is the seborrheic dermatitis, and that one causes scaly patches and red skin that's mainly on the scalp. You might be a little bit more familiar with that one because it's called cradle cap in infants, but it can also, seborrheic dermatitis can also affect any of the oily parts on your body. That's generally where seborrheic dermatitis happens. So that can be anywhere on your face, typically like the sides of your nose where they get oily, your eyelids, your eyebrows, your ears, and seborrheic dermatitis is typically caused by, it's triggered by a combination of genetics, hormones, and microorganisms that are on your skin. So for eczema, we kind of touched on it. It's not considered contagious. You can't catch eczema from anyone else. You can't give it to someone else. It's usually a problem within your body, you know, like that autoimmune type of issue. But nonetheless, the symptoms that you experience, those itchy, painful, inflamed symptoms and the discoloration, can still really deeply affect your quality of life. And that's really why we developed EmuAid, first aid ointment, for our customers, was to really help give our customers that quality of life back. Because how it works, how EmuAid really works, is there's really strong healing ingredients and antibacterial and antifungal and anti-inflammatory ingredients that work together to immediately begin to calm inflammation, relieve that itching, relieve that pain, and discomfort immediately. So tomorrow is actually also World Psoriasis Day. So kind of a fun fact, we also wanted to touch on a little bit of the difference between eczema and psoriasis. So some of the biggest differences between eczema and psoriasis have to do with the appearance and the main symptom and where they show up on the body. So eczema and psoriasis at the end of the day can be really hard to tell the difference between the two. Sometimes they're very, very similar. You can't really tell the difference. You may usually need to go see a medical professional like a dermatologist to get proper diagnosis for the two. But generally, how you can tell the difference in the appearance, at least, is with psoriasis, you'll get really thick, well-defined red scaly patches, whereas eczema can just be generally more of like a red, inflamed appearance to it that can happen anywhere on the body for eczema. Whereas psoriasis typically appears in creases of your body, like in the creases of your elbow, anywhere you're bending, behind the knees, a lot of the time in the neck, like in the neck area where you're moving your neck around. And then the main difference that you'll experience in symptom is that eczema, typically you experience severe itch. That's something that most people experience with eczema, whereas with psoriasis, how it's generally described with people that are suffering from it, is more of an intense burning or stinging sensation. For both symptoms and as well as for helping the appearance, EmuAid and EmuAid Max helps with all of that. It's going to help with the appearance, it's going to help to heal the skin, it's going to help to protect that moisture barrier, heal that moisture barrier, which is really what's not working with both conditions. In terms of treating eczema, to get back to eczema, treating it with EmuAid, how you treat it is you want to just apply a small layer of EmuAid on your skin. Once small layer of EmuAid on your skin is considered one application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that on my hand. So if I had eczema on my hand, that's one of the places that's the most common place to get eczema is on the hand. You would simply just open up the jar, and you can see it right there, and a little bit goes a very long way with an application. So you just want to take a little bit, like I have barely any on my finger, and you want to just rub it in. And that right there just was my whole hand, and you can see it's right there, and I only needed a very little bit to put it on my hand. And what you want to do is you want to treat it consistently, and a minimum of 3 times a day. The reason being is, it's similar like if you were taking any kind of medicine recommended by a doctor. If you don't take it, if you're prescribed a medication 3 times a day and you don't take it 3 times a day, you can't really expect those symptoms to get better. And it's kind of the same thing with any topical product that you are treating with a condition like eczema. You want to make sure you're using it as much as you want. And because our product is all natural, you can use it as much as you want. So we say a recommended, 3 to 4 times a day, but if you keep it on hand, at work or at school, near your desk, you can put it on anytime you feel, pain, discomfort, itching, to really help kind of knock that out right away. And another important thing when you're treating eczema is to keep your skin clean and use a gentle cleanser. We have the Therapeutic Moisture Bar, and that is a really great gentle bar soap that really gently cleanses the skin. It refreshes delicate skin for these skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, and rosacea. And you can actually use it on your scalp for that one type of eczema that we went over, that seborrheic dermatitis one. And you can use it in lieu of shampoo, the Moisture Bar. It works up a really great lather. It's our Moisture Bar is actually triple milled in the French tradition. So what that does is it actually presses out all the water, So you're left with a really densely packed bar soap full of ingredients. So you get a really great lather. You can use it on your scalp, but use it all over your body. And that's going to be really great to really help alleviate your symptoms. And then a few other facts on eczema to touch on before we end this video that will really help is really be mindful of what you're eating. Eczema is, can be considered definitely a little bit more of an allergen type of condition that's reacted to allergens that come into your system. So certain foods can really trigger your system. So try to be mindful of what you're putting into your body and when you get those eczema flare-ups. Because for some people, for particular foods like nuts and dairy, that can really trigger those flare-ups. But eczema can also be triggered by environmental factors like smoke and pollen. So really be mindful of what you're doing and what you're experiencing when you're going outside and what you're coming into contact with when you get those symptoms, because the best way to treat eczema is actually to prevent any of those flare-ups from happening. So if you're really being mindful of all of those things that you're coming into contact with, another one is laundry detergent actually. Really be mindful of your laundry detergent. That's something that our customers have told us a lot about by simply switching to a fragrance-free and gentle laundry detergent for their clothes. They've noticed a huge difference. So that's another great tip to keep in mind. The last one is stress. Stress can really flare up those symptoms as well. So you really want to be mindful of your stress and try to keep that try to keep your stress levels down. We have another really great product, our First Defense Inhaler, and that's a really excellent blend of pure 100% essential oils that will provide relief from the actual environmental stress and deliver essential immune support. And it just has like a calming, natural, great kind of scent to it to help relax you. So thank you everyone for joining in. I hope you guys were able to learn a little bit more about eczema and how to treat it and what Emiwade really does to help with your eczema. And if you have any questions on our products, please feel free to drop us a comment, drop us a message on Facebook. You can also reach out to one of our excellent customer service reps on our 800 number, and you can speak with someone directly on the phone. They are available Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And that number is 800-881-3900. You can also shoot us an email. Feel free to email customercare@emiwade.com, and we can answer questions that way. So I hope everyone enjoyed this, and thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day.